Okay, we are live now also on the YouTube, I think. The humility is basically people a lot of times are getting misunderstanding of this thing. Okay, they think that humility is to say, I don't know, I know nothing, I'm very small, I have nothing with myself. And this is not humility. Okay, this is mainly this is someone who have no confidence. Humility is to know what are the things that I'm strong with, because God gave me those powers, and what are the things that I'm less strong. Okay, it's not my best to be on those things. For example, I have a good memory. It's not true. Okay, I'm saying as an example. I have a good memory. I have a good memory. Okay, so to have humility is not to say I don't have memory. That's it. No, I have good memory. God gave me this blessing of good memory. Someone else gave a blessing of something else. One of the most important things that God did in this world, that not every person, not every nation have all the all the things, everything together. We need to complete one each other. So humility is to know exactly what I have, what are the things that God gave me, and because He blessed me with those things, I'm going to do my best to represent Him in this world and to bring more knowledge to others. And this is the main humility: to know exactly who I am, what are my uniqueness in this world, what is my mission, and to know that God is helping me to fulfill my mission. People, and it's not to say all the time, I know nothing, I'm useless, I'm nothing. This is not humility. This is nonsense. This is people who have no understanding with themselves. So this is a very nice word, a very nice name, and we have girls in Israel that this is their names. Oh, very nice, very nice.
No,
And another thing that I will say that this humility is uh, first of all, it's the word of today. Okay, there is we started yesterday. We started the ethics of the fathers. We sang the ethics of the fathers from Passover until the time that God gave us the commandments, the 10 commandments. Okay, so we have 6 chapters, and on each week we're learning one chapter. We have 6 weeks from Passover, from the end of Passover till the day that we're celebrating accepting the Torah, getting the Torah. In those 6 weeks, we're learning each week one chapter. The last chapter is that there are 48 unique, how do you call it, unique tools, okay, to manage and learn the Bible, or to learn the Torah, to learn the word of God. So there are all sorts of tools. One of them is, for example, to do this not by yourself, but to sit down with a group of people like we do today also, okay? And the first one, the most important one, no, I'll say it like that. The one that is mentioned today, or yesterday, not today, was anava. Because you can't really learn the Bible if you have no humility, or you can't learn the words of God. Think about this for a moment. If you think that you know everything, you don't have any humility, okay? So I'm not accepting any other ideas. I understand already, I know already, don't bother me. One of the most important things to start to listen to someone else is to have a bit of humility with yourself, to listen to others, to say, okay, not all the truth is with me, not I don't know everything, and I need to listen to others. So humility is one of the things, and it's we have 48 of those things, those tools to learn the Torah. And the one of the Shabbat was anava, humility. Okay. So here it is. You got it also from this side. And this is the most important one. Our sages are saying this is the most important one. The Maimonides is using this idea of humility, and he's writing the book of, it's called in English, in Hebrew it's called Moreh HaNevuchim, the book of those who are confused, who don't know exactly how to knowledge God. And he's saying one of the most important verses, or not verses, says that you have there, is that you need to listen. You need to listen for the truth, and to accept the truth from the one who said it. Never mind if he's a righteous person, if he's an ugly person. If he's saying the truth thing, you need to listen to him, and to listen to the truth. And you, regardless the person itself, this is where you understand what is humility is, because you're listening to the idea and not trying to put or to interfere inside also your emotions and your feelings. You're listening to the truth. And the truth might come sometime also from people who are very far from behaving in the right way. But you need to listen to the truth. So the Maimonides that is teaching us in one of these important books, the Moreh Nevuchim, okay, this book that also sages of the world learned this book, how to knowledge God. He said that humility, this is the base of everything. So here it is. We got a few words about this nice name that you gave your daughter. Very nice.
Thanks for
Fair
that.
enough. So we had a very interesting pledge today. It was also very full with a lot of people. Also, some of them important people. We have someone, for example, from Netiv that is helping and organizing in Netiv already for the last 10 years. And he said he never did the pledge. And he came also and did it today. We had a very interesting thing. And let's learn something from where we are. And I want to teach something. We learned this chapter, and I want to speak in principle about the chapter and the other two chapters. Okay, so let's share the screen and let's go inside. Is it okay that we can learn? It's okay? Yes? We're all okay? Let's start. The chapter that we came to, we finished all the things that we have, almost all the things that we have with Abraham. Now we're moving to Isaac. Isaac, by the way, we have a nice family in Lithuania that 4 years ago they gave birth and they called their son Isaac. Okay, but they're also Noahide people. So we'll speak about Isaac here. I think we came to chapter 24 now. Yes, chapter 23. We've learned chapter 23. We've learned already. Okay, we saw that Sarah was living, or she died after 127 years, and Abraham came, and we spoke about this. He came from almost slaughtering Isaac. Isaac already 37 years. He almost slaughtered him, and Sarah died, and Abraham is coming to honor her and everything else. And then he is buying, not like he did before he slaughtered Abraham. He did a peace covenant between him and the people there. Abraham is buying a portion of the land to bury Sarah. And he wants also that he will get buried there. And we know that also Isaac and Rebekah is buried there, and Jacob and Leah is buried there, and also the head of Esau. Okay, remember that? The head of Esau is also buried there. Fair enough. And one of the most important things that he bought this part of the land. Where are we speaking about? Who is going to read for us tonight? Mike, Nathan, I don't care. Who is going to read? Let's read for a moment. Verse number 16.
And Abraham listened to Ephron, and Abraham weighed out to Ephron the silver that he had named in the hearing of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, accepted by the merchant.
And we explained that it was very high valued money that is managing to move for everybody will accept this money. Please also read the verse number 17 and 18, please.
And so the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, facing Mamre, was established as Abraham's possession. This included the field and the cave that was in it, and all the trees that were in the field, which were within its entire border around. It was to Abraham as a possession before the eyes of the sons of Heth, in the presence of all who had come within the gates of his city.
So we have here, it's written down. It's not written down in some side book. It's not only written down in the council of the city. It's not written down on the stone somewhere, who knows where it is. It's written down in the Bible for the last 4,000 years that this place belongs to whom? To Abraham, right? You can't say, no, this is someone else, okay? You can't say something like that. Abraham bought it. Let's jump for a moment. Let's jump for a moment to the end of chapter 20. I think it's the end of chapter 24. Let's see if it is. If it's not, no, it's the next one. Sorry. Next chapter. We have here Abraham. Abraham is taking another wife. Okay. Basically, he's taking back again the wife that gave him birth for Ishmael, and he have a lot of kids from them. How many kids does he have? You know, we spoke about this. 12 kids. Okay, Abraham have another 12 kids and a daughter. Fair enough. Let's put it aside. And please read verses number 5 and 6.
And Abraham gave all that he possessed to Isaac. And to the sons of Abraham's concubines, Abraham gave gifts, and he sent them away from his son Isaac while he, Abraham, was still alive, eastward to the land of the east.
There are a few things here that we need to learn. First of all, I have a question. If Abraham gave everything that he had to Isaac, so what exactly did he give to the other sons? Logically, question, right? He gave everything to Isaac. First of all, if he gave everything to Isaac, what exactly he gave him? He gave him the promise of the land. He gave him also to inherited the part of the Me'arat HaMachpelah, what we call, okay, this place that he bought before that, right? There's a question here, what exactly he gave to the others? I will say, we will speak about this. I will say that he sent them, where exactly did he send them? To the east. What do we have in the east? We have here there the Buddha. Remember the Buddha, India, but they are worshipping this Buddha. It's related to Abraham. Okay, I won't go inside to this now. Just remember that there is something like that. But the most important thing is to realize that Abraham, and it's written down in the Bible, Abraham brought something with money and he gave it to Isaac. It's written down here, right? So if we're going for a moment to this place, let me show this for a moment. We showed it before that, but we show this again. If we're going to this place, okay, I will show this in a few ways. As we can see here, you see all the pictures? Can you see all the pictures? Yes? A very long time ago. Very long time ago. Very long time ago. This is already in our days. This is in our days. This is in our days. You can see my mouse, yes? Now you can see also Jewish praying there. For the last 700 years until 67, the Arabs didn't let us to go inside there, even though no one have any doubt that this belongs to Abraham. One of the most important things, they are fighting with us on this place. Why? God knows why. Okay. If I will tap on the news, you see all images, news. If I will tap on the news, it's all the time on the news. Okay. All the time on the news, all the time on the news, because we know that it is. This is only from one. If I will go to the English side, you will see this all more. All the time we have debates here in Me'arat HaMachpelah between the Hebrews and the Arabs. Now, it's not that we're not giving them possibility to pray there. We're giving them. They don't want us to pray there. They're Jewish. Isaac, listen. Let's go on to another place. another place that was being, I will say, conquered by the fathers, by our fathers. Okay, the other place is a very unique place. Let's see if I'm jumping to the exact place. We had there another 2 chapters. Okay, this is chapter 34. You see that? Chapter 34. Please read the first 2 verses.
Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to look amongst the daughters of the land. And Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, the prince of the land, saw her, and he took her and lay with her and violated her.
Fair enough. So we have here a very unpleasant situation. Who remember how it's continuing, this unpleasant situation?
Oh,
It's continuing with this that they are asking to marry this girl, okay? And the kids of Jacob, sons of Jacob, were very upset. Please read verse number 7.
And Jacob's sons had come from the field when they had heard, and the men were grieved, and they burned fiercely because he had committed a scandalous act in Israel to lie with the daughter of Jacob, and such ought not to be done.
So they were very upset, and they tricked them. How exactly did they trick them? And it's written down here. It's very unique what they did. Please read for a moment verse number 13. We're going to learn this in a much more profound way. I want to show you something, only a side effect of that thing, okay? So please read verse number 13.
Thereupon Jacob's sons answered Shechem and his father Hamor with cunning, and they spoke because after all they had defiled their sister Dinah.
So they did here something tricky, okay? They didn't went straight. What exactly they asked them to do? Please read verse number 15.
But with this, however, we will consent to you, if you will be like us, that every male will be circumcised.
So they're asking them to circumcise. We all know that after 3 days, if you're doing circumcision, after 3 days, you are very weak. This is the day that you are weak. And they did it. Please read verse number 24. What exactly they did there?
Who's coming out at the gate of his city listened to Hamor and his son Shechem, and every male, all who went out of the gate of this city, became circumcised.
And what exactly the kids of Jacob is doing now? Please read verse number 25.
And now it came to pass on the 3rd day, when they were in pain, that Jacob's 2 sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword, and they came upon the city with confidence, and they slew every male.
So they tricked them, and they slew everybody. This is Shechem, okay? We're speaking about the place of Shechem, how they took, because of what they did, okay? And they took everything, they captured everything, they conquered everything. And they're not even answering their father. The main thing here that we see, that there was some sort of a fight there, okay? There was some sort of a fight there. And before the fight, there was something else that we need also to see. For a moment, let me find it for a moment. Please read verses, this is the chapter before that, okay? Please read verses 18 till 20.
And Jacob came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. Then he came from Paddan Aram, and he encamped before the city. And he bought the part of the field where he had pitched his tent from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 kesetas. There he erected an altar, and he named it God is the God of Israel.
So what exactly he did when he came to Shechem, to Hamor, before all of these things that he conquered all of Shechem, he bought it with money. This is the second place that is being written down in the Bible, that one of our fathers brought with money a place. Then there was also an incident where they took everything there. But first of all, he paid a full amount of money to buy a part in this land, a portion in the land. Shechem is north to Jerusalem, okay, north to Bethel. If you go on the hills of Israel, okay, you can go on the shores and you can go on the hills. So you're starting with Shechem, you're continuing to Bethel, then you're continuing to Jerusalem, then you're going to Ephrata, what we call where Rachel was buried, and then you're continuing to Me'arat HaMachpelah, to the place we saw before. But the first thing is that Jacob bought Shechem. And to whom exactly is he giving it? We will read it again in a moment. We will read it. To whom he's giving it? Let's see. Don't be surprised. It's normal. Please read verse. We in chapter 48. Please read verse number 1.
Now it came to pass after these incidents that someone said to Joseph, "Behold, your father is ill." So he took his 2 sons with him, Manasseh and Ephraim.
Excellent. And then he's saying to him that he's accepting them, and he's asking him to bury him in Israel, in Me'arat HaMachpelah. Okay, well, let's say, just a moment, we'll see that, just a moment. He's asking him to bury him in Me'arat HaMachpelah. Fair enough, it's not in this chapter, it's in the next one. But he's giving him something very unique. Please read verse number 22.
And I have given you one portion over your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow.
He's speaking about Shechem. He took it, first of all, by buying it, then also with the fights that they had there. And he's giving it to Joseph. And Joseph is being buried there, okay? Second place. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but last week, again, we're going to another story, but it's written down, okay? We're going to this place. It's called, I'll go to the English one, okay? So you'll see, this is the tomb of Joseph. Let's go to the English. Joseph tomb. This is a place. This is a place, Joseph tomb, and it's being in Shechem, in this area. What the most important thing is to say, last week, I don't know if you've heard about this, the Arabs went inside to this place and they burned all of this. And we did renovation, okay, with all of the army. We went inside there with the army and we did the renovation to this place. Again, we see that the second place that is being written down, and it's clear that belongs to the Hebrew people, not from today, and not from yesterday, not from 200 years ago. Okay, before the Arab nation started, is the tomb of Joseph, and again we see the same thing, where the Arabs are fighting against us. Let's go to the third one. The third one, who knows what is the third place that's being bought by one of our fathers, or not fathers, from one of our important people. It's also written down in the Bible.
Where Damascus?
Damascus? What is Damascus?
No, the mosque with the golden dome.
Ah, the mosque. Okay.
Al-Aqsa or something like that.
No, it's Al-Akbar, but it's not as. Okay, fair enough. You're saying the right things. Let's go there. Let's see if I'll find it straight ahead. I hope so. Just a moment. No, the last one is blessings. It is.
Rabbi, what's the chapter name, please?
In a moment. Let me see that I'm finding it. Okay. This is it. This is the last chapter of Samuel 2nd. Okay, Samuel 2nd, chapter 24, the last chapter. And the last chapter is saying something that King David did a mistake. And he counted the Hebrew nation one by one instead of doing it in the right way, the halachic way that we have. And because of that, God killed a lot of the Hebrew people. And now it is starting the discussion with the prophet God. There's a prophet, his name is God, how exactly to do repentance. And one of the things that he's doing in this repentance, you see, in the word of God came to God the prophet. And one of the things that King David is doing, after we had more than, they died, 70,000 men, you see? And they died of the people from Dan to Beersheba, 70,000 people, okay? And he wanted also, the angel wanted also to go, and he had his hand towards Jerusalem. And this is where King David did something. And what exactly he did? Please read, now we need to read a few verses. Please read from verse number 20 till the end of this book, okay? From verse 20, please.
And Araunah looked afar, and he saw the king and his servants passing on towards him.
Araunah was a king also, okay? Please.
Okay. And Araunah went out, and he bowed to the king with his face to the ground. And Araunah said, "Why has the Lord my king come to his servant?" And David said, "To acquire from you the threshing floor, in order to build an altar to the Lord, that the plague may be stayed from the people." And Araunah said to David, "Let my lord the king take and offer up what seems good in his eyes. Behold, the oxen for the burnt offering, and the threshing tools, and the wooden tools of the oxen for firewood." All this Araunah the king gave to the king, and Araunah said to the king, "May the Lord your God accept you." And the king said to Araunah, "No, for I will only buy it from you at a price, so that I will not offer to the Lord my God burnt offerings, which I had received for nothing." And David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. And David built there an altar to the Lord, and he offered up burnt offerings and peace offerings. And the Lord was entreated for the land, and the plague was stayed from Israel.
So the way to stop the plague from Israel, right, after the mistake that King David did, was to buy the place where today we have the mosque of what we call, it depends, there are two things there, okay? There are two things there, okay, in this place. This is one of them, the Temple Mount. What we have in the Temple Mount, you can see the images there, and you can see also the soldiers. I don't know if you know what happened there in the last few days, or what is happening there in the last few days. The Arabs are inside there, firing the our soldiers and our policemen, and they're not allowing us also to go there on the side. We're not going inside. We go on the side and to pray again. The third place. So we have three places that are being bought with money. One is what we call the Me'arat HaMachpelah, the place, the cave where Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, Jacob and Leah, and also Adam and Eve are being buried. Abraham bought it. The Arabs today are saying, no, it's ours to go away. Second place is the tomb of Joseph. And the third place is the place where the Temple Mount is supposed to be. Now, if we will ask ourselves the question, why are they fighting against us so much? Why are they not allowing us to be in this place? So I want to ask, I will say it like that. It's a bit complicated, but I will say it, okay? Please be with me for a moment. If we will be honest with ourselves and we will ask why, what happened that we have today more and more people who are living the Christianity world, the Christianity ideas, ideology, and moving towards Israel. So the truth answer is that along history, in the last 2,000 years, after Israel went to an exile from their homeland, one of the lies that people were told is that God left the Hebrew nation and they won't come back to their homeland ever. Now, when the Hebrew nation started to come back to their homeland, a lot of people felt an itch in the back, something there is wrong, something there is not 100%. People are telling us lies. Look on the pledge of today, you will see that we had something like a third of the people said that we asked them, why did you came to do this pledge? And they said, we saw the lies, we didn't get any answers, we had a lot of questions, and this is what happened there, okay, in the Christian world. Now, what exactly is the message of the Arab world? We don't have so many people from the from the Muslim world that are becoming Noahide. The main issue that the Muslim world is saying is that Muhammad, okay, the master, Muhammad, he was the last prophet. There isn't any more prophets in this world. Now, when exactly they will start to question themselves, when the prophecy will come back to Israel. Now, it's very soon. We are going to have this thing of the prophecy coming to Israel soon. I don't know if it will take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or 7 years, or maybe even 2 years. It's on the way, okay? All of our sages say that we'll come back to our homeland, and after that, after a few years also, we will have the prophecy. So when the prophecy will come back, what will happen to the Arab community? They will start to ask questions, right? Just like the Christian world started to ask questions after the Hebrew nation came back to their homeland. When the prophecy will come back, the Arabs will start to ask questions and to ask themselves, is it true? Maybe people said that to us lies, maybe not, we're not 100% correct and everything else. Now, from where exactly the prophecy will come? Where is the place where God is putting his presence in this world? In the mosque, in the Temple Mount, okay, that we have today, the mosque. So they are feeling, it's not in a logic way. It's something they know, like in the inside understanding, how do you call it? Some sort of another dimension. It's not, they're feeling that they must, if we will manage to be part of this mountain, the reason what will happen here is that they're going to lose it. They understand that something is wrong with their religion. So they're doing the best. They're fighting. They're shooting at us. They're doing everything that we won't go to those places. You need to realize what's happening. And this is what is written down in chapter 24 in Genesis, what we've learned. Okay, Abraham is buying this place. Okay, it's not a mistake. They decided to do those things. Those three giant people that we had, Abraham, Jacob, and then David, King David, for the main three places where we are restoring. Each part of them is doing something else. I told you more than once that the Hebrew tradition is being connected in the triangle. Okay, man with himself, man with his fellow man, and man with God. We spoke about this a few times. We can say this again. Okay, and the Temple Mount is man with God, as we saw a moment ago, where when King David, is buying this place to build up an altar in front of God. So this is man and God. Okay, now we have Joseph in Shechem, this is exactly the place where his brothers sold him. So we're speaking about man and his fellow man. This is a place of man and his fellow man.
Hello?
Man and his fellow man, his friends, not only with himself. His brothers sold him there, and this is why they're taking him back when they're taking his bones from Egypt, and they're burying him in the place where he was sold, to say that we are all doing repentance. We're bringing you back to the place where we sold you. So this is the relationship between men and these fellow men. And the tomb is where each one of our fathers are being buried there. This is man with himself. By the way, in our tradition, we say that always when a soul is going out from a Jewish person, the first step that it's going, the soul, is through the tomb of our fathers. Okay, so each one with himself. So we have three places. Each one of them is different part of the triangle. And the Arabs, they understand, again, not in logic way, but they understand, I will say it, we call in Hebrew mazal, you know, it's a hidden understanding inside them, that if we will manage to go back to our place in a full capacity, you know, with all of the things that we have, and the prophecy will come back, what will be the end of the Muslim world, of the Muslim faith? They won't have any choice except for adjusting it in the right way and moving the wrong side of their faith, because just like what's happening with the Christian world, okay, that things are moving there, and people are moving from the wrong things of the Christian world. The same thing will happen with the Arabs, and where they're feeling this is why they're fighting against us in those places. And now we understand the deep inside situation that we have in Israel between the Hebrew and the Arabs. Most of the things that are being said in the what we call is the newspapers and the media and everything else, it's a big lie. Okay, for example, we have a situation where in the last month, this is a month that they are doing in their tradition, a month that they are starving. They're not eating every day. Okay, they're doing a month that they're not eating. Okay, they're eating only at night. How do you call it in Arabic?
Daytime fast.
Yeah, daytime fast. Yeah, the fasting. The fasting, and it's called Ramadan. Okay. Now every morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, they're going to this place, and they're supposed to pray. And instead of praying, what they're doing, you know what they're doing? They're throwing stones on the Jewish who are praying in the Western Wall, and they're also firing against our policemen and our the policemen and our soldiers. And this this weekend, the United Nations sat down together and said that they're saying bad words against the Hebrew nation, that they're not allowing. I want to remind all of us that only since the Hebrew nation captured this place, the Temple Mount, only in the last 50 years, every person, regardless what exactly religion he believes in, can go to this place and to pray there and to speak there. Before that, only the Arabs had the possibility of doing that. So only since we came there, we have the possibility, everybody have the possibility to pray there. And this is the main debate that we have. And this is what we see also in chapter 24, what we saw in Genesis, okay, where we have the place that Abraham is buying and not giving it only, or not saying, okay, I want it as a present. No, it's not a present. This is something that is very important. And I want to buy it, and I want to have it, and that everybody will know this is belong to the Hebrew nation. Okay, it's not only the Jews, the Hebrew nation, the full Hebrew nation. So this is one of the most interesting things that's happening in the last 100 years, that the Hebrew nation is coming back to the homeland, between the Hebrew and the Christian world, and between the Hebrew and the Muslim world. And I'm sure for one thing, I must say that I'm really sure, okay, I think I said it once, but I will say it again. My grandfather, okay, my grandfather, he ran away from Vilna, from Vilnius, okay? Vilnius is the country is I forgot the name of the country. Vilnius is a town. The country is who remember the name of the country? Okay, he ran away. No. Vilnius is in the north where the Vilna Gaon was. Lithuania. Okay, they call it today Lithuania. It was Lita once, today it's Lithuania. My grandfather ran away from Lithuania 100 years ago, 110 years ago. He ran away from Lithuania to the United States. And we have a letter that he wrote to his brother that stayed in Lithuania. By the way, his brother stayed in Lithuania and died in the Holocaust. This Thursday, we are mentioning the Memorial Day of the Holocaust. So he's sending a letter to his brother that he's saying to him, I'm sure that the Messiah is on his way. Those are the days of the Messiah. It was the end of the World War #1. And I asked myself more than once, how come he thought that the Messiah is coming? Because for more than 400 years, the Turkish people captured or conquered the Hebrew land, and they didn't let the Hebrew people to come to their homeland. So what happened? So he didn't saw yet in those days of the letter that the English people and the Australian people conquered the Hebrew state or the Hebrew land from the Turkish people. Nobody thought that something can move there. Okay, after 400 years that the Turkish people captured or conquered the Hebrew land, nobody thought that something could be different. But he had the vision that the prophets said that we're going to go back to our homeland. And this is where they said, for sure, also, this is the days, and this is what will happen. And I don't know how he had the ability to think and to dream those things, those words. But today, after we saw that the prophets is managing to move to those stages, that the Torah is coming from Zion, people are listening to the Torah, people are asking questions, people are going out from the lies of the Christianity, and people are questioning a lot of things, just like the prophet said, and the Hebrew people are coming back to the homeland. So for sure, I know that the Hebrew nation will continue on with their mission, that everybody will accept this one God, and we will manage to go back from being countries. And the basic assumption of countries is to fight one with each other about the lands. You can see this today with Russia and Ukraine. And we'll become back from countries to become families. And families, the basic assumption of families is to be friends one with each other. Let's get married one with each other. And being back families, we will manage to bring peace to the world. And this is also being written down by Abraham. The prophecy of Abraham, the beginning prophecy of Abraham, is that this is what God is saying to him. Look, we said it more than once. Please read verses number 1 to 3.
And the Lord said to Abram, go forth from your land and from your birthplace and from your father's house to the land that I will show you. And I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. And I will aggrandize your name, and you shall be a blessing. And I will bless those who bless you, and those who curse you I will curse. And all the families of the earth shall be blessed in you.
So we're starting with a great nation. And as we said before, a nation is a place that the basic assumption is, I need my sources of life, and I need to capture more and more. So I'm going to fight against the other nation. But we're finishing as families, okay? And this is just the opposite way from what happened in chapter 10. Let's look for a moment in chapter 10. What is happening there? Chapter 10, starting the end of chapter 10. First of all, it starts here, okay? Please read verse number 1.
And these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and the sons were born to them after the flood.
And here we have a list of 70 nations. And it starts with the family, okay, the Noah family, and it's continuing on with 70 nations. Please read verse number 32.
These are the families of the sons of Noah according to their generations, in their nations, and from these the nations were separated on the earth after the flood.
So it starts with families, where we have peace one with each other. The basic assumptions of families. You go to the neighbors, go to your neighbors. You have a neighbor, usually with the neighbors, you have more or less, usually you have good relationship with your neighbors, okay? Families with families, it's good relationship. And it starts with families and it's continuing to their nations, okay? And the nations were separated. And when he's saying this, you can hear already the fights starting. So this is how everything got separated. And the blessing of Abraham is to bring everybody back to become families and to be together one with each other. And it's also being said at the end of the prophecies. Let me show you this also for a moment. Let's go to the prophets and let's go to the last prophets. Zechariah, you see this? I think Zechariah, just a moment. Let's go to Zechariah, chapter 14. We have here, it's hinting also on the 6-day war, okay? I won't go inside to this too much. See, chapter 14, where God is going all the nations to Jerusalem to wage war, and part of the city will go out, the part of the city will stay there, everything else. But what we have at the end of this chapter, please read verse number 8 and 9, please.
And it shall come to pass on that day that the spring water shall come forth from Jerusalem, half of it to the eastern sea, and half of it to the western sea. In summer and in winter it shall be. And the Lord shall become king over all of the earth. On that day shall the Lord be one, and his name one.
Okay, not Trinity, not anything, all those nonsense will go away. And let's see for a moment. Please read verses 16 and 17 and look exactly how we're defining those nations, please.
And it will come to pass that everyone left of the nations who came up against Jerusalem will go up from year to year to prostrate himself to the King, the Lord of hosts, and to celebrate the festival of the tabernacles. And it shall be that whoever of all the families of the earth does not go up to Jerusalem to prostrate himself to the King, the Lord of hosts upon them shall be no rain.
Fine, but we're speaking about the end of the days, going back to become families. This is how it's been called, families. This is the end of, and it says here that, everybody will send delegation to Jerusalem. Fair enough. So one of the things that we did, by the way, lately, I will show you something else. Okay, let me stop share this and let me share something else. One of the things that we did is, and soon you're going also to have the possibility. Why isn't it going up? Just a moment, you see. We have, I don't know if you saw this, we have a community in Congo. You know Congo, where Congo is? Congo is in somewhere there, in
Africa.
In Africa. So this community of Congo, they had, I don't know why it's not going up. Maybe I need to close it and to start it again. Just a moment. Let me do this. It is. Just a moment. And I will explain everything. It doesn't want to go up. Okay. In a moment, I'll do this differently. Just a moment. So let me explain this and I will show you pictures and you'll be thrilled. Congo is a community speaking French. Okay. We have also a French department. And one of the master there, one of the priests there, he said, he asked a lot of questions and everything else. After something like a year or something like that, year and a half, he decided to become a Noachite, not only himself, but also all of the community. And then they wanted to do the ceremony of the Passover. I don't know, it's written down also in the Brit Shalom, we've learned it, that if you want to do the night of the Passover, like we did a week ago, you can do that. There's only one thing that you're not allowed to eat. I think I explained this also more than once. Like I have a son-in-law that is a Kohen, is a priest, and there are things that he is allowed to eat and I'm not allowed to eat. And the same thing, there are things that the Israeli people are allowed to eat and the Noachide are not allowed to eat. Fair enough, but you can celebrate the Passover. And he decided, this priest, he's really not a priest, okay, to celebrate the Passover with his community. It's a large community, more than 500 people. And they did it, but it was very important for him also. I don't know, the person in charge of the French department told him that we have this thing already. And he nudged us, the few days before Passover, and we sent him a strip of Jerusalem with written down. I will show you in a moment. I will show you this picture. Soon you will be able also to buy this. The WhatsApp is not working. Just a moment. No, it's not working. Right? Give me a few seconds, and I will show you this thing. So and he did it. Just a moment. And he did a very big ceremony.
Rabbi, I have it in my WhatsApp. Do you want me to forward it to you?
No. Share the screen. Share the screen. You can share the screen. You have a WhatsApp on the. I will do this differently. Just a moment. I will show you everything. Here it is. I will show you this in just a moment. I will show you. The WhatsApp decided not to work. That's it. This is it. It's from home now.
I got it. I can share it.
Okay, so I have it already. I will show this here. Just a moment. Okay, fine. Fair enough. You see this strip of Jerusalem? You can show more pictures. Continue on. I think we shared a few pictures. Give me a moment. Stop sharing. Give me a moment to share. Okay, I will share more pictures, much more pictures. Okay. Thank you very much for that. You did it very fast. Here it is. You can see You can see. How do you show this? Here it is. Here it is. You see that? This picture, you can get this picture from us as a small strip, okay, with Jerusalem. And it says that the Torah is going out from Jerusalem to all of the world. You have also the Israel flag and the Noachide, the World Center flag. They did it on the wall of Jerusalem, towards Jerusalem. You can see it also, very close. And now you can also see when he spoke in front of all of his community, how all of them are doing this Passover thing. As you can see, they don't have really matzot. They have bread, that's fair enough. It's already 12 o'clock at night. You can see that. It's a larger community, as you can see. The women there, and also this nice, cute girl. This is the strong hand taking out from Jerusalem. And also the wine there, the drinking, everything else. We have pictures also from India. We have pictures from other places, as you can imagine. The most important thing is that we do think that Jerusalem is the center of the world. And this is why we're also going to start to share, that you will be able to get this nice picture, to put it on your, if you want to buy something like, to get something like that and to pray towards Jerusalem, it will be fine.
That would be a back screen for the computer, Rabbi.
Sorry?
You could then put it on as your screen.
Also, yes, also. And we have in other places of the world, people are putting this thing to communities. We're giving this also in another format. So, but basically, I think that this is one of the most important points that we see in chapter 24 of Genesis, what we've learned today, what we saw today, okay? We saw, on the principle, we didn't saw all the words inside. The words inside we already learned. Next week, we're going to learn chapter 25. It's a long story. You can read it to prepare it for next week. And we're going to go inside to this story, to this message of the Bible. The message in chapter 24 is to say to us that there are places that are being brought and not only being used, okay? And even though God promised this land to the Hebrew people, as I said already, we are trying very much to buy this land back, not only to conquer it with worshiping or doing things in the land, but also to buy the land, to get it, that it will be ours in the most formal and legally way, and hopefully, as more that the Hebrew people will be in their homelands, the prophecy will come back much faster, and we will jump to the next stage, because there is also all the time the progress, and there are also sometimes jumps that we're doing from part to part. If there are any questions, this is a good time now. Fair enough, I'm here. James, good to see you. Long time no see.
I have a question, Rabbi Chaim.
Hey, Nicola. Hi, how are you doing? We had a long time today. Yes.
Yeah.
Together. Yes.
Yes. So you were talking about the Temple Mount and about the holiness.
Just a moment. I need to answer this. Just a moment.
Yeah.
אני פה, כן, מה המצב? מה המצב? ברוך השם, אני פה עם איזה 30 איש מחו"ל, מכל מיני מקומות בעולם. וואו, מה אתה אומר? מצוין, תודה רבה. 6:45. למה? 1:15. כן, אתה צודק. תקשיב, אתה צודק, אתה תקבל עוד משבצת, אל תדאג, אני אביא אותך עוד פעם. יותר זמן. רחוב הלל 17. זה במרכז העיר, אבל יש לי חניה שם. אתה מגיע לשם, אני אראה אותך איך להיכנס לחניה. תבוא כמה... כן, זה מכללת ליפשיץ. זה המבנה של מכללת ליפשיץ. לא, אבל אני אעזור לך להיכנס. כשתתקרב, תתקשר, תבוא בערך ב5:15 לחנות, תתקשר אליי, אני אנחה אותך בדיוק איך להיכנס ואני אלווה אותך. הכל בסדר, אז מקום שלנו. יאללה. תודה רבה. תודה. ביי. Sorry, it was an important one. Yes, Nicola, I'm with you.
So you were talking about the Temple Mount and of the holiness of that place. It's absolutely clear. And the land of the Temple Mount, does it belong to the Arabs actually? Yes. And so it's...
it's belong, this is what we read.
Yeah.
King David bought it with money.
Yeah, David bought it. So you have to buy it again back? That it belongs to Israel, or is it... I
don't know. I really don't know exactly how it's going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not a prophet yet.
Yes.
I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. If you're asking me, if I understand correctly how things are going to today, nowadays, I think that the Hebrew nation is going to pay something for getting back this part of the land.
Yeah.
But who knows? Because, there's a say, our sages are saying that if the people of the world will acknowledge how much blessings there is when the Hebrew nation is worshiping God through this mountain, they will come and build up this temple.
Amen.
So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the movement of the Noachide will be so big, so suddenly everybody will say, just a moment, you don't need to pay anything. We want to build it. Who knows?
Yeah, Hashem.
Fair enough.
Okay, thank you.
Rabbi,
Yes.
looking at the prophecy in Zechariah, In the Shema, in the paragraph, there is the couple of sentences there that if you turn away from worshipping God, the Lord your God, you will have no rain in your seasons. But now you've got this in Zechariah as well, to the families of the earth going up to worship God. If they don't go up, there'll be no rain. Is that a similar link?
Similar link for what? I didn't understand. I'm sorry.
Well, it just struck me that I've not read it anywhere else.
The prophecy, I'll explain. The prophecy is saying there that everybody, all the families of the nations, will send delegations to Israel every year in the Sukkot time. It's just after the Sukkot time. Yes, it's just after another half a year. Okay, it's just after the Rosh Hashanah, where we are accepting God to become our God, and the Yom Kippur, when we're doing the repentance. And in the Sukkot time, every nation will send delegation to the Temple Mount to pray for their nation. And this is why the blessing to this nation will come. Now, the word blessing in those days, in the days of the prophecy, was the word rain. Okay?
Yeah.
And today, by the way, this is one of the things that also the science don't really know the exact, I will say, the exact way how the rain is coming. They know vaguely things, and I don't know exactly things. But the word blessing is being taught through the word rain. Okay, and it says that those that are going to send delegations are going to get blessing in their years. And those who are not going to send a delegation, and this year they're not going to get the blessing. Very simple.
Yeah,
Life is very simple. You know?
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense.
that makes a lot of sense to me now. Thank you.
Okay. Fair enough. More questions? Yes, Bart.
In what is the authority of a sage different from the authority of a rabbi?
Fair enough. You asked a question. It was in the middle of a Passover, and I didn't have the time to answer. Okay, I will answer you. A rabbi is part of the chain of the people who are passing the oral Bible, the oral Torah, from one generation to another generation. A sage of the Noachite is someone that is coming from the nations and is learning a lot of things that is related to the oral Bible, that is related to the Noachite people. It's a bit different. The oral Bible is very broad, very large, with a lot. I said it more than once. We have more than 80,000 books of the oral Bible. Okay? The sages of the Noachite don't suppose or don't need to learn all of those books. They don't need to know all the Bible, oral Bible. They need to know the part that is related to the Noachite behavior and to their nation. They're supposed to be also smart in the culture of the nation. One of the things that we're saying all the time is that we are not expecting everybody to celebrate Passover like the Hebrew people are celebrating it. And there's also going to be a difference between the celebration of Passover between the people in France, the people in England, and the people in the United States, and the people in Canada, and the people in Russia. Each one of them is going to celebrate this part of, we're all going to acknowledge, okay, that every person have free will, and that God decided not to judge the world only in what we call the din side, or only through the laws of nature that doesn't give any differentiation between righteous people and evil people. So we all celebrating this principle in Passover, but the way exactly how to celebrate the Passover is related also to the culture of each country. Okay, now ask yourself for a moment about what exactly in your country is the time and the day that is celebrating the uniqueness of men and the freedom of choice that each man have. And it's a bit different about how they do it in South America, And I'm sure that it's also different than how they do it in Russia. By the way, the uniqueness of human being and the possibility of free will in Russia is being taught and explained differently than how it's written, explained and taught in Belgium, for example, right? So it's going to be a principle of things, but it's also going to have different uniquenesses how to do this. And the sages of your country are not going to be the same sages of the Russian country. I will give an example, okay? I'll give an example that I'm dealing with this, bless you. I will give an example that is dealing with, that I'm dealing with, in our days. We are managing with a lot of help of all of you, also with you about, we are managing to translate the Brit Shalom book to a lot of languages. Now, there is a very big inside debate in the, I will say, between us, the people who are leading the Noahide movement, okay? The Russian people, they're saying, let's distribute everything for free, free of charge. Don't pay anything. Let's distribute it. Everybody who can take it. Now, in the American side, in the, I will say, West side, in your country, in Canada, in the United States, in England, if you're giving something for free, people are not respecting it, right? So you find yourself suddenly with a debate. Now, what I'm saying all the time as a CEO, okay, that people need to understand that we're dealing with the world, and there is a difference between how people are looking at things in Russia and how people are looking at things in the United States, in Canada, in America, in your place. If we will distribute everything for free, people will say it's useless, it's nothing, it's not worth anything, okay? In Russia, if you're putting it with a bit of money, I'm not saying it's not even supposed to be the same amount of money, okay? $6 in the United States, it's funny. $6 in Turkish, for example, it's a big amount of money, also in South Africa. I'm not speaking about the amount, how much amount, okay? I don't care not to get, we're not looking to gain money from this thing, but we're trying to realize, or we're trying to understand that there is a difference in the culture of places that is asking us to behave differently. Now, for this, we need the wise people from each country that are from one side learning the main part of the Noahide oral Bible of them. On the other side, they are expert in their behavior of their countries, of their family. Go, for example, to Lithuania, okay? One of the places I was there, was the phone, okay? I was there for 10 times before the pandemic, for weeks, okay? I gave lessons and everything else. I gave seminars there. And they have a lot of unique costumes with a lot of things, different from Russia, by the way. All totally different from Russia, okay? And also different from Germany, different from England. And they're trying to adjust their sages, the Noahide movement, to their costume and to their place. And Germany is different. England is different. We won't be able to do everything. This is why we're saying all the time that the best is not to become a Jewish. God is not asking all of you to convert to Judaism. God is asking you to be a Noahide in your country and to be a sage as a Noahide and to lead your community. Because I will never be able to be an England person. First of all, I don't know how to speak English like them. It's a bit hard for me, as usual. But it's true, okay? Also, even though I came from the United States, okay, my parents came from the United States, I'm not part of the United States. I'm an outside of them, okay? I'm a Jewish United States person, okay? I belong to the Israel land, okay? You can see this in Ukraine today, okay? Where they're sending the Hebrew people outside. Not only in Ukraine, everywhere, suddenly the Hebrew people go back to your homeland. Leave us alone. Let us debate with the things with ourselves. So I will be, not only me, the Jewish people will be always, the Israeli people will be always foreigners. Okay, who is going to lead the places? The sages of those places. One of the things that we want to do, and now we're going to go back to this idea, is to build up the house of the nations in Jerusalem, where people will come for 3 months and will learn, okay, the part of the sages of the Noahide side, and will also contribute one to each other the knowledge that they have from their culture. So think about this, for example, that you will come with a delegation of 5 people from Belgium, okay? Lara will come with 5, 6, 7 people from Turkish, okay? Angelica will come from Canada, and Angela, not Angelica, okay? Angela will come from England with a few people, and Wendell will come from the United States and the south of the United States. It's different from the north of the United States, you know? And there's a difference from the Bible Belt and on the shores and everything else. So we will have people from all sorts of places, and Hans will come with a few people from South America, and we will have what we call a place where everybody is going to be together, to be boiled together, and how much power it will have to all of us when you will go back to your countries. Starting to see the vision. This is a big vision. I didn't say Nicole, but Nicole will come also with few people from Germany. The Germany people and the Hebrew people, you know, we have a bit of, it's a bit hard for us. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, starting to realize. Fair enough. I think that Dan is a bit sick, so we need to say to him, send him from here. We need to send him a good repair and very fast repair. It was if I remember correctly, he has the COVID, right? He has the COVID. And next week, same time, we're going back straight. It's the week of our Independence Day. Yay! The Arabs won't be able to to defeat us. It won't happen. Fair enough. Thank you all very much, especially for Nathan. We started, I said that we're starting the ethics of the father. So one of the people there, we have one of the sages that the Mishnah is blessing his parents because they brought him to the place where all the sages are learning since they were very young people. Okay, so Nathan, and we see that you bring in your child Anava already from the times that you can hear the Torah since she's growing up. Great. Fair enough,
Thanks,
everybody. See you
Thank
all
you,
next
Rabbi.
week. Have a great week. Bye, everybody.
You as
Bye.
well.
Now,
Bye-bye.
what
Bye, everyone.
Shalom, Rabbi. Thank you.
Bye.